Hey there, Libra. Welcome to your reading for the week. Or no, just kidding. This is for the Virgo eclipse that's happening on the 13th or the 14th, depending on where you are in the world, of March 2025. You have this Say Yes card. It says, now is the time to be open and to receive. You have this A Time to Remember. It says, look back at your childhood, which is pretty crazy because a lot of people have been getting these cards of looking back at their childhood, like the Six of Cups, the, pretty much all the childhood cards. Even the sun can represent your inner child as well. And you start with the Page of Swords, and the Page of Swords can also represent childlike energy. So I feel that a lot of people, could be tapping into that inner child energy. And we do have Mercury and Mars, the Venus is retrograde. Mercury will be going retrograde at the end of the month. So a lot of people could be reminiscing or thinking about the past, or whatever you want to call it, right? And you have another card of your inner child right here, the Ten of Cups. Now, you do have the Tower. I wouldn't worry too much about the Tower. Everybody has had the Tower. I have a feeling, I've been talking about this for over 2 years, that there are going to be a lot of global Tower moments between 2023 and 2033. And yes, I know we're in 2025, but it just is what it is. And it's coming up in the area of your thoughts, which is really not that big of a deal, so we'll talk about it. But again, everybody had the Tower. It is a difficult eclipse. Like, I'm not going to sugarcoat the eclipse itself. I think it is challenging on a personal level, and we'll talk about it. But you have the Page of Swords. So looking at your inner child, and the Ten of Cups wants you to have more happiness. And now that I think about it, you always get the Ten of Cups with me. Now, the thing about the Ten of Cups is it is a very good card, but, there are some people who believe that the Ten of Cups, it's like they're just imagining those 10 cups above their head. They're not bringing it down to earth, right? It's like sometimes I believe that when we imagine something, like when we just think about it, that our brain kind of thinks, oh, you have this, even if you don't, because you're imagining it. So it's almost like it kind of like fulfills you because you're daydreaming about something, but you haven't actually manifested it. And I kind of wonder if that's where this reading is going, just based off of a couple of things that are showing up here. If it's like saying, yeah, like it's fine to visualize and, try to, picture a dream or what would happiness look like for you. But at a certain point, you also have to say yes, as that first card says. It says, now is the time to be open and to receive. So I feel that in a lot of ways, it's like daydream time is over. It's time to take action towards whatever this is. You have the Nine of Wands. Nine of Wands is the Wounded Warrior, and, again, with this eclipse happening in Virgo, there's no doubt about it. There could be some wounds that are popping up. We still have Chiron and Aries as well. Chiron and Aries is an interesting one. It's opposing your sign. It's, opposite Libra. And, it is the Wounded Warrior. And Chiron has been in Aries for an extended period of time. And it's retrograded there as well before. And I don't know. I just kind of get this feeling that there's some sort of connection between Chiron in Aries and this eclipse that's going on for you. And I also think that a lot of you could be like healing old wounds or needing to look at old wounds. Part of me feels that all the energy in Pisces could also be triggering this for you as well. I'm a Pisces, so I can say this, but Pisces is a bunch of whiny crybabies, right? So we have a bunch of whiny crybaby energy in the astrology right now. And, I think that a lot of us could be just healing from whatever that is. You have the Tower in the area of your thoughts. Now, you're the second or third sign that has had the Tower in this exact same position. So, the Tower in the thoughts is just about thinking of a Tower moment, or thinking that something will be a Tower moment when it won't be. This is very much an eclipse energy. Eclipses, especially these lunar eclipses like we're having in Virgo, they can kind of like take something away from us so that we can make room for something better. That's pretty much the whole point of a lunar eclipse, is they usually eclipse something out of our life. And a lot of you could just be thinking about it because it's in your thoughts. This could also be, the Tower in the area of your thoughts could be like a light bulb moment or an aha moment. So it doesn't always have to be a bad thing, but it could also be like a sudden realization. The energy that I feel the most for this moon, for this Virgo eclipse that we're having, is kind of like catch-up energy, where it's like people are maybe realizing where they are behind. So you could feel that there is, but it's not just behind. I think that it's also, like, I think a good example would be finances. It's like, let's say you built a business on something, but like not a very solid foundation. The universe might be saying to you now, like, hey, it's like the way that you're doing this, it's good. You're getting a result, but like what happens if it goes away? It's kind of like that. The universe is trying to trigger people to make things permanent, make things secure. And I definitely feel that for you here, Libra. I think that the universe is saying, like, okay, maybe you're working towards something great, but what are the foundational elements that need to be put into place? And again, this could be like a triggering moment, or it could just be a sudden fear that pops up as well. It's like you could just have that realization, like, hey, my business isn't secure. It's like YouTube, right? A lot of people rely on their YouTube ad revenue, but YouTube ad revenue just goes like up and down all over the place. Who the hell knows what YouTube is doing with ads? I never know. So, just like all over the place, right? But that's why I've built things so I don't even have to worry about it. I don't even think about it, right? Because then I don't have to worry about what's going on. But some people do. And it's like they don't have something secure, stabilizing them. And I feel, I don't want to spend too much time on this, but that's what I feel that is saying. In the area of your foundation, you have the Temperance card, the Hierophant. I don't know why I said that. Temperance energy might be important for you as well, because I said Temperance, but the Hierophant is very good in a foundational position because he's a card of education and kind of like knowing things. So in a lot of ways, I feel this is saying that you know enough. Like you are, maybe you are secure in your knowledge, or maybe you have learned what you needed to learn to be successful moving forward. Next, in the area of your past, this is the energy you are moving past. You have this Mouse spirit. It says tend to the small things. You have this Porcupine spirit, says time for a beginner mind. Yeah, so a lot of you maybe were in a period of time of learning in the past, and the Hierophant just says the tend to the small things card also makes sense with the Ten of Wands. The Ten of Wands is also coming up in the past here, which is great. It kind of says that you are releasing burdens at this time, since this card is coming up in the past and you're moving past it. But the Ten of Wands, he might be fussing over the little details. He might be too concerned about the little things and not enough with the big picture. Ten of Cups, your last card, Ten of Cups would definitely be more of a big picture energy because they're standing in the real world. They have to deal with all the real world problems and challenges. I say this to you every single reading, Libra, with that Ten of Cups. But they are choosing to focus on the big picture. And so I feel a lot of you could finally be moving past that energy, which is probably good. Next, in the very near future, you have the Self-Regulation card and the Strength card. Both cards play very nicely together because when you are able to self-regulate, then that is kind of like a form of strength, right? And, nothing is able to knock you off your square when you can self-regulate. You have the inner strength to realize that all feelings, decisions, choices, everything comes from you, from your center. And so it just seems to me like you're much more centered at this time as well. This is good because when we are much more centered, we can see things more clearly, including opportunities that could be coming our way. So the Ace of Pentacles is usually an opportunity that has a lot of potential, and I feel a lot of you could be getting an opportunity. I also have something about a gift coming in for you, or it's like something that feels like a gift. So if you've been waiting for like information or approval or good news or something like that, it's definitely popping into my head that some of you could be getting good news off of this Ace of Pentacles. For your outcome row, you have this Divine Intelligence card. Yes, you have several things here that really talk about your intelligence. Even the Tower. The Tower has that lightning bolt that is striking the top of the tower. And that lightning bolt represents a light bulb moment. So a lot of you, there is definitely something here about divine intelligence. It says, to connect with your higher self, you must first create space to listen. This right here, he looks like he is meditating and he is sitting in his strength and he's not worrying about every little thing that's going on around him, which is a major theme, has been a major theme for you, Libra, for a while. That, if you're worrying too much about everything, then it's kind of preventing you from thinking clearly. And it doesn't say that you can't, it doesn't say you can't care about things, like issues going on in the world and things like that. But it's like if you care too much, then, I call it cat lady syndrome, right? It's like when I was growing up, when I was a kid, we had a cat lady in our neighborhood. I kid you not. She probably had over 100 cats. No joke, right? Running around her yard all over the place. And every single one of those cats was suffering. So it's like she cared about those cats, right? But she didn't care about them enough, to make sure that they weren't all suffering, right? And I think the town ended up coming in and taking all the cats and putting them down. Sad, very sad story, but I'm proving a point here that it's like sometimes we can care about something so much that we cause more damage, right? And we don't see things clearly. So I think it's not about not caring, it's about, caring about yourself and doing what you can do to change your life. You have this explosive situations card, Tower. It says that the destruction will allow new growth to emerge and shape the future. Yeah, I really feel that this, is a Tower eclipse, this eclipse that's happening in Virgo. I mean, there's a lot of other stuff going on at the same time with the astrology that I think could be pointing out weaknesses to people or, pointing out things that, people have to correct, like I said, or create a more solid foundation under. And, as long as you do that, you'll be fine. You have the Six of Pentacles coming up in the area of the next few months. The Six of Pentacles is a great card of making progress over the next few months. So again, I think that a lot of you could be progressing towards your goals, your wishes, your dreams. It's a card of planting seeds in the right direction. And he's also focusing on the right things, right? He's giving to this person, not this person. So he is giving to things that give energy back to him, which I think is a good theme for Libra to focus on. In the area of your closest relationships, you have the Three of Cups. This is the area of the reading. It represents all relationships in your life, and it is just an amazing card to get in this part of the reading because it says that you're feeling very supported by the people around you. This is a card of your community, friendship, people that matter to you, and I think it would be an amazing time to socialize, meet new people, spend time with the people you already know that really value you and kind of lift you up and help you feel stronger, right? Those are the connections that I would be focusing on there. In the area of your future feelings, you have the Knight of Wands. Feeling very spontaneous, I feel like you're feeling more active, and I also feel that you feel more like your actions matter. Ten of Wands can definitely have to do with that mouse spirit that says tend to the small things. But it's like very little, tiny little things going on in your life. It's like you're worrying about all these little things, right? And sometimes we have to. Like sometimes there's a good reason for that mouse Ten of Wands energy. Like if you're, setting up a business, there's like all these little moving parts and paperwork you have to file and all that other stuff. So there's usually a good reason for it sometimes, right? But the Knight of Wands is more kind of being spontaneous and, doing what works and more focusing on the big picture. And I kind of get the feeling that this is what this reading is talking about, saying you're going from, focusing on and being very detail oriented to more big picture focus. And that is good because I think there is like a sense of freedom that comes with that. You have the Ten of Cups as your outcome, which is amazing. Ten of Cups can represent happy home, happy family. So it's great if you're in a connection. It's also just great for feeling happy in general. So there could be a lot more happiness coming in for you here, Libra. With the Page of Swords and the Nine of Wands, you have the Ten of Pentacles, which is amazing. I love readings that have the Ten of Pentacles and the Ten of Cups together. It kind of represents, everything you want and desire. Now, of course, it doesn't mean that you're going to have everything you want and desire like right now, right this second, but it does mean that you are working towards it, that you are building towards it. So I feel a lot of you could be building towards kind of creating everything or, getting to this place of having everything you want and desire, or at least you're working towards it. With the Tower, you have the Three of Cups here. So whenever this happens, I always say that it's like this part of the reading is zooming in to these Three Cups. That's almost what I feel. So there could be some surprises in your connections. It's coming up in a positive position here. So, this could be a good thing, really, that's happening for you. I do feel like it could be a triggering moment as well. It's like, sometimes I think we have friends, they do something and they become very successful, for example, and then it makes us kind of realize that we haven't done anything. I'm not saying you haven't done anything here, Libra, but it's like I almost get one of those moments where it's like you could be looking at your friends and it's like maybe they're all married and you're not, or maybe they're all successful and you don't feel like you are. And, number one, don't beat yourself up, number one. You're exactly where you need to be. Number two, I do feel in some ways it is the thing that could get you motivated as well. With the Hierophant, you have the Five of Wands. I don't know. Your last 2 years are about conflicted beliefs, in general. I have nothing to say here, Libra. I mean, it's just what it is, right? It's like, I think that you've had a lot of conflicted beliefs, over the last few years, maybe, where it's like you believe something and then you find some evidence that what you believed isn't true, or vice versa. Other things can happen as well. And it's like, it's just like you're going through a learning period, and this is very Neptune and Pisces. Neptune and Pisces is a direct challenge to traditional belief. But for whatever reason, I feel Libra is definitely one of the signs that's getting hit by it, like a little bit more maybe than other signs, where there could be some things that you believe to be true and then they're not true, and you're just learning, right? And so there you go. With the Ten of Wands, you have the Death card. Yeah, again, good. I think this is saying that you're getting to the end of having to spend so much time on the tiny little details. The mouse spirit, when you think about it, mice chew through walls very slowly. So it's like a very slow process that you've, in some area of your life, that you have been going through. I think the good news about this reading is that you have chewed through the wall. You have gotten through, and you finally made your hole to, get through to the other side. With the Ace of Pentacles, yes, I literally said good news or something like that, or approval, I think I said, on the Ace of Pentacles. And Eight of Wands is like positive communication or receiving some sort of communication. So I feel there's like communication coming in. It feels like approval to me. So if you're waiting for approval or to like hear back from a job or something like that, that could be what's going on there. With the Six of Pentacles, you have the Magician. I feel very basic energy here. I feel like you are seeing like cause and effect, which is Libra, which is the Justice card, is cause and effect, right? But it's like that's the energy I get here. I feel like you are seeing which actions lead to which result. And, that's it. I would just pay attention to that, Libra. It's going to lead to the most success for you. This reading is almost saying that you are getting back to your true nature. I feel if you've been feeling conflict with the Five of Wands, or if you've been feeling out of sorts for a few years, that it's because maybe you have gotten away from your true nature. It's almost like the scales have, tilted too much in one direction for a few years. And it's like now you're kind of like coming back to balance, which is good. With the Three of Cups, you have the Knight of Swords. Knight of Swords is like rushing energy, as far, not really a love reading, right? There's like no love showing up here really. But, I would be careful of anyone who rushes into your life. We have Venus retrograde. I always tell people, like, I think the retrograde rules are ridiculous. I think as long as we pay attention, we'll be perfectly fine, right? And so if someone is rushing into your life, slow it down. Or if you're going on dates or meeting people, take your time. Don't allow someone to be pushy. Knight of Swords is a very pushy, kind of like trying to get to the finish line energy, but in the wrong way, right? Not the right way. With the Knight of Wands, you have the Sun. Amazing. The Sun makes the whole entire reading more positive. I feel you are feeling more positive. We kind of already said it, by the end of the reading here. So I feel a lot of you could be feeling more positive. With the Ten of Cups, yes, more inner child energy. Page of Swords. So following your happiness, following your bliss, following the things that bring you joy is going to be very important for you. So, that's what I would focus on there with that energy, for sure. You have this Man card. It says dealings or relationships with a man. I always clarify these man cards, woman cards, whatever. And you have this barrel. It says you feel something is lacking in your life, perhaps love, money, or goals. So, yeah, I think it would be a great time to fill in the gaps. Like anything that's missing in your life. Ten of Pentacles is the big picture. It is everything you want and desire in your life. But it does not say that you have everything you want and desire. It says you are building everything you want and desire. So whatever is missing, I would, start working towards it. You have this Wedge card. It says someone is trying to come between you and a friend or something you want. Yes, I've been saying this all year, for 2 years now, that, I think that there's a lot of energy of jealousy, especially with this Mars retrograde we had. Even though Mars is direct, we're still in the shadow. And I feel that we need to be careful of those people who tell us like, oh, don't date that person, don't be with that person. I always tell people like, I'm not criticizing anyone who's divorced or anyone who's been through a breakup or anything like that. But I'm just saying, I think if we are in a connection, we need to be very careful of spending time with people who are divorced and miserable, right? And again, I'm not saying that you're divorced and miserable if you're divorced or anything like that. But all I'm saying is we need to be careful of our environment, especially you. I literally, a few years years ago, I did environment readings because of you, Libra, because you always get the Nine of Pentacles. So your environment, the energy you surround yourself with, is going to be important. Again, if you have people who are hating on your relationship, they might ruin it. I've heard so many stories over the years, but even back when I used to do readings, I used to do readings all the time for people that are like, my friends convinced me to break up with my boyfriend, and I regret it, and I really love him. Is he going to come back? I used to be like, no. Like, why did you let someone else? I always say, I have a rule. Unless you're willing to allow someone into the bedroom with you and your partner, you should not be taking their advice, right? And, I would be very careful of that, especially with the energy that we have right now. You have the Skull card. It says hidden secrets can harm you. I would be careful of secretive people. I do feel we're in a time where, people could be kind of like a little bit more secretive and not forthcoming, so pay attention. You have this Cup card. It says you should accept valid criticism. Sure. You have this Rabbit. It says too much concern with sexual matters. Yes, I would be careful of that Knight of Swords for sure. Knight of Swords and Knight of Wands, right? If you meet a person and they're too handsy, I would be careful. And finally, you have this Happiness card. Yes, we see a ton of happiness here. All your readings for the past 2 years have all been about you really focusing it on what makes you happy, on what brings you joy. And I think that's the only thing you should focus on, Libra. But pretty good reading, actually. Again, it is a challenging eclipse. I'm not going to sugarcoat it, but your reading is pretty positive. So thank you for being here, and definitely enjoy your eclipse.